Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my penultimate update on my project A to Z that I've been doing for the last 9 months now, I think. We are only one more update away until my finale, so next update will be my finale. So if you guys don't know what this project is, essentially you have 26 items at the start that correlate to the letter of the alphabet. That's usually like the scent name. There is an ice cream bun, I don't know if you can hear that. It's just the scent name or the brand name or whatever you think that matches with the letter. Most people use this as a panning project. Mine is essentially using each item 26 times, or if I hit pan before that. And I've been doing quarterly updates, and I've really enjoyed working on this project because it's making me reach for items that I wouldn't necessarily be reaching for on a more regular basis. So obviously we already rolled out a few items in the last update, so let's see how I've been for this last quarter and yeah, see how many items we have left to go through for the next few months until my finale video. Next update will definitely be my finale. Whether I have completed my goal on all items or not, I'm going to end it there anyway. So without further ado, let's get on to my updates. I'm going to obviously go alphabetically through the list, and yeah, let's see how we're doing. So first item is this, which is for A. This is Amber by Fenty Beauty. It is the Contour Matchsticks shade. So when I first rolled this into the project, the product was above the lip. Now it is just ever so slightly below it. I'm not wearing my glasses, so I honestly can't tell whether it's in focus or not, but I think that is in focus now. I've still got quite a lot left in here, but I got to the goal of 26 usages in January. I should also mention that this quarter has been a little bit longer than a usual quarter, so I actually did my update for the last quarter in November, so it's been a little bit longer. So next up we've got this. This is for D. This is Dandelion, which is a blush in this Cheek Parade palette by Benefit, and Dandelion is the one at the bottom down here. I don't know if it will show up on camera or not, but there's definitely more like definition and like movement that I can see in here. Like there's a slight dip, and I can definitely tell that it's being used a lot more. So I used this the entire 26 times 2, and I also rolled this out in January. Then for E, I rolled in this sleek highlighter, and I rolled in the shade Ecliptic, which is the only cream shade in this palette, which is this one up here. And I used this 26 times, and I rolled this out in December. I think the last time I wore it like in this project was at Christmas. I do absolutely love this quad of highlighters. They're probably my favourites. Okay, so next up we've got this. This is my Naked 2 Urban Decay palette. The shade I have rolled in for F is Foxy, which is this shade here. I used it 4 times in the last quarter to make a total of 8 times. I'm actually going to be focusing on this palette in this month, which is March, focusing on this palette in a different project at the moment. So I do think I'll be rolling Foxy out probably within the next couple of weeks. So if only I did this update at the end of March rather than at the beginning, then maybe it would have worked well. Next up we've got this. This is my MUA Makeup Academy Professional eyeshadow palette in Poptastic. The shade I've rolled into this project is actually Gold Mine, which is the golden shade obviously, which is this one here. Not the yellow shade, but well, the golden shade more than the yellow shade. And I think you can definitely see there's definitely been more usage on this one compared to like the other shades that you can see. So I used this a total of 11 times this last quarter to add up to 16 times. So we have got 10 more usages in this before I can roll it out. And I think this will probably be rolled out by the time it's April. We've got this palette now. They've got 2 eyeshadows that are in here, so I'll go through the first one first. That makes sense. So the first eyeshadow is called Highlight, and it is this shade here. I'm covering the other shade with my hand so you can't see it, but it's this shade here. So this is called Highlight. I used it 23 times this last quarter to add to the 26 times in total, so this has been rolled out officially. This eyeshadow palette is currently in my Pamela's eyeshadows and also in my finish in 2022 for 2 different eyeshadows, so that's probably why the usage in this one has skyrocketed so high so fast this last quarter, because I have been focusing on it a lot. Okay, then for eye, we've got Incense, which is a shadow in my Norvina Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. And it is this brownish shade up down at the bottom. I've only used this 5 times in the last quarter. So you can see there's definitely, you can see it's definitely been used, but not by much. And I've used it only 11 times in total, so we have still got a while to go until this can be rolled out. So for J, we have rolled in this palette. This is the Conspiracy palette by Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star. I rolled in the shade Just a Theory, which is up at the top here. Again, this looks like it's never been used because it's so pigmented. I focused it a little bit more in the corner up here. I think you can probably see that there's been some disturbance at the top. And I've only used it 3 times this last quarter though, so we have used it only 9 times in total. So again, this is another one of the ones that I really need to buckle down and start using a lot more. For M, we've got Monte Carlo, which is this single eyeshadow by NYX. It is a black shade with like blue glittery pigments in it, shimmers, whatever you want to call it. It is a really nice shade, not one that I really reach for much, so that really correlates on the fact that I used it once in the first quarter. I've used it 0 times in the second quarter. I used it 2 times this last period, so I've only used it 3 times in total, so I definitely need to get some usages down in here to 100% finish this. This could potentially be one of maybe 2 items that I might not complete by the end of this project. So yeah, we'll see. It's just not a shadow that I really reach for, and I kind of forget about it. Got this. This is my NYX lip balm. When I first rolled this in, this did not have a dip in it at all. It was brand new, unused, and now there is a fill on like big crater in here. And I rolled this out in March. So I used it 17 times this last quarter, which is really good. This is still on my desk, so this might not actually be what it was like when I reached the 26 usages, but this has still been on my desk because I am working on this. I am going to be working on this on my 22 and 22 project, so I'm keeping it on my desk to remind me about it. Otherwise I will just put it in my drawer and forget about it for the rest of history. So yeah, that is that. Right, so then we've got R&P, which are siblings. They are these sprays. We've got Peony Spritz and we've got Opulent Crush. These are Ted Baker fragrances, or body sprays as they say on the tin. I haven't really marked how much product I have used up, but there's still a lot in here. You can still hear it. little ASMR there. So I used these both 16 times this last quarter to both reach the 26 usages. Alright, now onto, okay, there's like a few blushes that are in a row here. So the first one is Quartz Peach. This is a mineral powder blush by Maybelline. It is my oldest blush in my collection, and really hard to kind of mark how it's doing. You can see there's like blush at the top, but there's also like blush still underneath. So I used it 6 times this last quarter, which gives it a total of 13 over the series of this project. Yeah, I'm actually really happy with that. I have really liked working on this a little bit more. I have also noticed that there's definitely 100% more, you can kind of see more through the package now. Like, you can see that it's getting lower, which I love, because I've owned this for so many years and it feels like it's just never ending. But yeah, I should probably embarrass myself with how long old this is. So we're in 2022 now, and I believe I probably got this in like 2005. Next we've got this. This is my Nicka K blush. So for years and years and years I haven't been naming this incorrectly. This is Nicka K New York blush in the shade Romantic. I used this 14 times this last quarter, so we are at 19 usages. So this is going to be rolling out probably fairly soon, I would say. For this as well, this is another powder blush, and I can see there's like windows here that weren't there before, similar to this blush. So I'm liking that I'm actually seeing some like solid progress happening, because I'm using these blushes more frequently on a regular basis. So yeah, loving that. Next is the first failure and only failure actually of this last quarter. This is my NYX Ombre Blush in the shade Soft Flush. This is the only item in the items left over that I have not reached for in this last quarter. That's really embarrassing, but for some reason it just did not work and I just did not reach for this. So this is what it looks like. So we're still stuck at 13 usages, which we were at the last update, unfortunately, and I still am none the wiser with how it's going to look going down. I don't know if it's going to have this pattern all the way through or if this is just the top of it. But yeah, unfortunately, that's the only misfortune of this project so far. Okay, so now we're on to this. This is another blush, the last blush in this little quad of blushes that come through. For T, we've got Trickery, and this is a Colourpop Super Shock Cheek blush, which is looking like this now. And I used it a total 16 times this last quarter to add up to 17 uses. So I have really picked up on working on this, which I'm really happy about. So we've only got 9 more usages until this one rolls out. We're now back onto this palette again. This is my Revolution Flawless palette that I had the highlight shade in earlier. We are back in here for the shade Unlimited, which is this shade here. So we had highlights, which is this shade here, so now we've gone to this one here, and you can see there's definitely been more usage in here. There's a little bit more of a dip that's now happened, which I'm very happy about. So this is actually, I've used it 23 times this last quarter to add up to a total of 25 times. So I'm actually most likely going to be rolling this out tomorrow. So I know I've not reached 26 usages, but as I'm going to be getting that goal tomorrow, I am officially rolling out this project today. I am reaching for this palette in a different project anyway, as I mentioned earlier. So I will see the shadow anyway, so I'll just use it tomorrow and call it done. So I'm Okay, so this is vanilla frosting for V. This is a mask powdered eyeshadow. So this was the one eyeshadow, this is the only item in the last 2 quarters that I had no progress on. This quarter I actually ended up rolling into my project pan so that I could actually get some usage out of this and, you know, force myself to use it, because I'll be reaching from my selection of products on a daily basis. So I have used it 4 times now, so we've still got a long way to go, but 4 times is great. So this is the other item that I thought that I probably won't reach towards the end of the project, but I don't know, now that it's put into my main project pan, maybe I will reach it. So next up we've got this is for W. So this is my Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette, and the shadow I have got in here is called Warm Taupe for W, which is this nice brown shade at the bottom, a very basic and good shade. I used this 13 times this last quarter, so I have indeed reached the select number of 26 usages, so this is 100% rolling out. Then for X, I don't have an eyeshadow in my collection that starts with X. X, I end up using a shade called Exposed, which is in the Jeffree Shane Dawson Mini Controversy palette, which is this one down here. You may be able to see there's some slight usages in the corner, maybe if it focuses, I don't know if it will. So I used this 8 times this last quarter to add up to a total of 11 times. So we still have a long way to go until we reach my goal here as well. Okay, then we're going back to my Naked Tube Urban Decay palette, and I have got the shade YDK for Y, which is this shade here. And I used it only 4 times last quarter to add up to a total of 9. I mentioned earlier in the video that I am focusing on this palette probably a little bit more over the next few weeks, so I do think that I'll reach this goal in this month of March for both of the shades, for both Foxy, which is this shade at the end, and then YDK, which is this shade down here. I do think I'll reach the goals for these 2 this month. And then finally we have got this. This is my Beauty Bay Sunset Horizons palette. It is looking very marked and gross currently because I'm working on it in a different project. So the shade I've got rolled in for this is Z, obviously, because we're on the last letter of the alphabet. It's Zest, and this is what the shade looks like now. And you can see that beautiful dip has formed. So this is the shade, this one here, and the dip is beautiful. So this is also just in general getting a lot more love at the moment, which I'm really liking, because this was like pretty much brand new when I rolled it in. So I've used this 13 times this last quarter, to add up to a total of 22 times in total in this project. So we are quite close to hitting the goal for this. I do think I'll probably reach this goal also within this month. Yeah, there we go. That is my entire update for you guys. So in total, thinking about numbers, we've got 8 that have reached their goal, 9 if I include the shade that's in here that's going to be rolled out tomorrow. 13 items that I still have a lot of work left to do. For at least a few of them, I am worried that I'm not going to reach my goal, but I'm going to try my hardest to get there, even if that means like rolling these items into other projects just to help boost the numbers like I did with this. Anything to get to that goal a little bit faster will be great. So yeah, without further ado, that is my update for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I should also mention, just as an FYI, that I do have like a Project Pan Instagram account now, which I have had linked down into my description. I've barely actually spoken about it anywhere, but just as an FYI that it is there. if you like that sort of thing. I think it's so kind of cool to see the progress in pictures. I often forget to include those in my actual videos. There is that. And yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I shall see you guys next week. Bye.